And up here on stage, the Impromptu speaking finalists. There were 6 finalists in the final round of Impromptu speaking. In 6th place, from Pope County, Vance Herder. In 5th place, from Hinsdale Central, AJ Gupta. In 4th place, from Hinsdale South, Matthew Leonardson. In 3rd place, from University High School Normal, Pierce McDade. Your tournament runner-up, Genevieve Getz from Wheaton Warrenville South.
As masking tape. Now, at his job, he started experimenting with all different kinds of materials. However, his boss told him to actually stop wasting his time and get back to his actual job. And although Drew complied, he continued his passion outside of working hours, experimenting with everything from vegetable oil to natural tree gums, whatever the heck that is. And while he was experimenting, he found his passion. And later, he was able to create not only masking tape, but also Scotch tape that we know and love today. You see, despite his boss placing that time constraint on him, he continued to keep his balance and thus fulfilled his goal of creating a new invention. And this idea of overcoming any obstacles in front of us brings us to today's quotation by Albert Einstein. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Essentially, what this means is that any obstacles in front of us, pitfalls or potholes, we can overcome, and we should overcome them in order to find success. And we can see this for 3 key reasons. First, by overcoming physical obstacles, we can find personal success. Second, by overcoming mental obstacles, we can inspire others. And lastly, by overcoming emotional obstacles, we can fulfill the promises that we made. But first, it's clear that we need to overcome physical obstacles in our path in order to find personal success. And this can be seen through Chef Christine Ha. Now, Christine Ha is best known for winning MasterChef Season 3. However, Ha is not your ordinary home cook. You see, Christine Ha is blind. She can cook authentic Vietnamese dishes without even seeing the ingredients, while I can barely scramble eggs with my eyes open. However, Christine Ha's journey to success was not easy at all because she wasn't actually born blind. In her late 20s, she began losing her vision due to an autoimmune disorder. And so one day, she was able to cook grand Thanksgiving dinners for her family, and the next, she couldn't even put together a PB&J. It seemed like her life was completely out of balance. However, she knew, just like Albert Einstein said, that she had to keep moving. And she did. Slowly but surely, she began relearning her way around the kitchen, starting with basic knife skills using a butter knife, and even relearning how to boil water by taking baby steps. But keeping on that path towards her journey, well, she was able to succeed, relearning her way around the kitchen with only 4 senses, and eventually becoming one of America's best master chefs. You see, it's clear. She was able to overcome that physical obstacle in her path by continuing to move towards her goal, and thus found personal success because of it. But second, we also have to see that we need to overcome mental obstacles in our path in order to inspire others. And this can be seen through writer Angela Duckworth. Now, Duckworth was always a very studious person, so much so that she got into Harvard University. But to no one's surprise, Harvard was actually hard. You see, in her first class of neurobiology, she was failing so much so that her professor told her to drop the class entirely. Now, Duckworth did what any rational person would do. She decided to go to the registrar and declare neurobiology as her major. Yeah. You see, she wanted to prove her professor wrong. Despite that mental obstacle her professor imposed on her, she knew in order to keep her balance, she had to keep moving towards her goal. And by declaring neurobiology as her major, well, she would have no choice but to stay on that path. And she did. Slowly but surely, using passion and perseverance, she was able to major in neurobiology and also go on to write her best-selling book, Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance, which would go on to inspire so many others with her story. You see, Angela Duckworth knew, just like Albert Einstein said, that to keep her balance in life, in order to major in neurobiology and succeed, she had to keep going step by step. And she did just that, in order to inspire so many others with her book. And lastly, we can see we also need to overcome emotional obstacles in order to fulfill the promises that we made. And this can be seen through weightlifter Matthias Steiner. Prior to the 2008 Olympic Games, Steiner had promised his wife that he would win a gold medal in Olympic weightlifting. However, unfortunately, just the summer before the Games, his wife passed away in a tragic car accident, leaving Steiner in a depressed state. During that time, he lost over 15 pounds, detrimental to an Olympic weightlifter. However, he knew he still had a goal in mind, a promise that he had to keep. And so, in order to keep his balance, he decided to keep pedaling, slowly but surely regaining his weight, making his way back onto the Olympic team, and in the final lift of the clean and jerk, he was able to lift over 15 pounds more than his previous competitor and over 20 pounds more than his previous attempt, solidifying him with that gold medal. You see, Steiner knew exactly what Albert Einstein was saying. Despite that emotional obstacle in front of him, that trauma, he had to keep pedaling in order to stay upright. And he did just that, because on that final podium, he held a gold medal in one hand and a picture of his late wife in the other. So when returning back to today's quotation by Albert Einstein, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you've got to keep moving. Essentially, what this means is that any roadblocks, obstacles, or potholes in our way, well, we need to overcome them, and we can. By doing so, we can see why it's so important for 3 key reasons. First, by overcoming physical obstacles, we can find personal success like blind chef Christine Ha. Second, by overcoming mental obstacles, we can inspire others like Angela Duckworth. And lastly, by overcoming emotional obstacles, we can fulfill the promises that we made like Matthias Steiner. So when looking back at Richard Drew, we can see despite he had time obstacles in front of him imposed by his boss, well, he knew in order to keep his balance and continue on towards his goal of inventing something, he had to work overtime outside of his work, and he was able to do so, inventing not only masking tape, but also Scotch tape that would go on to better the lives of so many others.